Welcome, everyone. I am beyond thrilled to be your guide today for this explainer, because, let's be real, we are unpacking what is absolutely the most explosive pace of cinematic news in recent memory. We're talking about a literal seismic shift in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The sheer scale of the Avengers' Doomsday announcements has completely rewritten the playbook for the next era of comic book movies. We're looking at the return of Robert Downey Jr., but in a way literally no one saw coming, pulling us straight into an all-out multiversal war. Get ready, because the hype we're about to break down is absolutely real.
Okay, let's dive into this. How exactly did the MCU's greatest hero become its ultimate villain? I mean, for over a decade, Robert Downey Jr. was the beating heart of this universe, right? He was Tony Stark, the guy who sacrificed everything to save the universe. And now, he's stepping back onto the screen not in the red and gold armor of a savior, but hidden behind the cold, iron mask of Dr. Doom, arguably one of the most complex, intense bad guys in comic history. It's a complete masterstroke of casting that flips the script entirely, and the story of exactly how it all came together behind the scenes is just fascinating.
Section 1. The voice that brought chills. To really wrap our heads around this incredible casting choice, we need to take a step back from the massive spectacle and zoom in on a really quiet, intimate, behind-the-scenes moment. So, the crucial point is how this casting actually clicked. At Comic-Con 2026, Anthony Russo pointed out that when you're dealing with a character like Dr. Doom, somebody who spends almost his entire life hidden behind a rigid metal mask, the performance completely hinges on vocal presence. Without facial expressions, the voice has to do all the heavy lifting. It has to carry all the menace, the intelligence, and the sheer ego of the character. They obviously knew Downey had the acting chops, but they needed to know how he'd actually sound as the ruler of Latveria.
Picture this. They're just hanging out in a production trailer one day, having a super casual conversation, batting around ideas about the character details. And out of nowhere, completely unprompted, Robert Downey Jr. just drops the Tony Stark persona and suddenly breaks out into the Dr. Doom voice. Right there in that tiny, confined space, no special effects, no costumes. The directors were totally stunned. Like Anthony said, he broke out into the voice and they knew at that exact moment, that was it.
The reaction in the room was incredibly visceral. Chills. That is the exact word Joe Russo used to describe what he felt the absolute second he heard Downey's villainous pitch. It wasn't just a good line read, it was a physical reaction. The voice carried such an undeniable, chilling authority that it instantly erased any lingering doubts about RDJ transitioning from the franchise's ultimate savior into its ultimate threat.
Section 2. Echoes of Iron Man.
What makes this new era so electrifying is how it inevitably forces us to look backward even while we're hurtling forward. And this brilliantly illustrates Joe Russo's point. He specifically compared the sheer impact of hearing that Dr. Doom voice for the first time to that iconic I Am Iron Man scene, where Tony Stark snaps his fingers in Endgame. Joe pointed out that Robert has this incredibly rare, innate ability to generate these super memorable moments in cinematic history. The snap literally defined a generation of movies. Now, according to the directors, this Dr. Doom voice reveal is poised to deliver that exact same earth-shattering level of impact.
Section 3. Multiversal War begins. So now that we understand the intimate, chilling details behind the character's creation, we've got to look at the macro-level scale of what this actually means for the story. Stepping out of the actor's trailer and directly onto an all-out reality-bending battlefield, the recent trailer footage proves this is going to be massive. Dr. Doom isn't just some looming background threat. He is actively preparing to wreak a multiverse-crossing war on our heroes. And right at the center of this cosmic conflict, Thor versus Dr. Doom. We're getting a direct, heavyweight face-off between the God of Thunder and this terrifying new iteration of Doom. It perfectly sets the stage for a physical and emotional collision of epic proportions. But thankfully, Thor won't be facing this multiversal threat alone. In what is easily one of the absolute most thrilling moments teased in the new footage, Thor is shown reuniting with a very familiar face. Yes, Chris Evans is officially returning as Captain America. This marks his long-awaited, highly anticipated return to the MCU, since he passed on the shield back in Endgame. Seeing Cap and Thor back together on screen is exactly the kind of emotional anchor we need as the universe starts unraveling around them.
Section 4. The Ultimate Hero Crossover.
Listen, if you thought Cap and Thor reuniting was big, you better brace yourselves. The stakes of Doomsday require a defense force unlike anything we have ever seen in cinema history. This isn't just an Avengers movie, it's an unprecedented merging of cinematic universes. We're seeing a bunch of Fox's legacy X-Men characters officially crossing over to join the fight. I'm talking Professor Xavier, Magneto, Mystique, and Cyclops. And building right off the huge momentum of Deadpool and Wolverine, Channing Tatum's Gambit is in the mix. But wait, it doesn't stop there. After making their big screen debut last year, the Fantastic Four are stepping up, right alongside the Thunderbolts, to help the Avengers try and save the multiverse. It is a rapid-fire, absolute dream team lineup that fans have literally been waiting decades to see share the same frame.
Section 5. Countdown to Doomsday.
With a cast this massive and a villain this iconic, the anticipation has reached an absolute fever pitch. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the real-world numbers backing up this hype, because they are just as mind-blowing as the multiversal plotlines. Rs 159 crore. What makes this staggering presale figure so completely astonishing is that we are still a full 5 months away from the actual release date. It's a massive financial testament to the sheer gravitational pull of Robert Downey Jr.'s return and the promise of a true crossover event. Fans aren't just excited, they are literally investing in their seats half a year in advance. That is wild.
Let's move to and see how this builds across the upcoming cinematic calendar, because here is your roadmap. We had the massive trailer drop in July 2026, which totally set the internet on fire. All of this momentum is hurtling toward the main event on December 18, 2026, when Avengers Doomsday officially hits theaters. But guys, this is just part one of a massive 1-2 punch. Exactly 1 year later, in December 2027, the saga culminates with Avengers Secret Wars. We're looking at a tightly packed, meticulously planned 2-year sprint of cinematic history. Which leaves us with one final lingering question. Can the Avengers survive a villain who knows exactly how to save them? Robert Downey Jr. defined what it meant to be a hero in this universe. He knows their tactics, their hearts, and their weaknesses because, well, he helped build them. Seeing how the Avengers adapt to fighting the very face of their former savior is going to be incredible. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes on that December 18th date because absolutely nothing will ever be the same.